At the Naval Yard in Washington, D.C., uniformed officers pass me by with curiosity as my team sets up film equipment. I'm a producer of a documentary about how climate change impacts national security and global stability, and we're about to conduct our first military interview with a Rear Admiral. To say the least, I'm feeling out of my league. Let me give you some context. I grew up probably like most of you in this audience, picking blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries off the bushes, naked with a cape flowing behind me on my 100-acre organic berry farm. Okay, maybe not so normal. So it came as a surprise to no one when, after college, I became a grassroots climate change organizer and activist. I was arrested 3 times for protesting. Oh, here's me as a kid. There's me protesting. You can see with the arrow. So this was my world. I was totally not in the world of the military whatsoever. So when I became a documentary filmmaker and we wanted to make a bipartisan climate change film and take the angle of the national security, I was really scared to think that I would be seeking out the voices of a group I actively disliked. I was cool with this kind of protesting. Put me in front of some cops and I was fine. But this kind of marching, that was enough to make me poop in my pants a little bit. Yeah, I was just really scared to conduct the first interview with a Rear Admiral. Now, I had done my due diligence on Rear Admiral David Titley. I knew he was a naval officer for 32 years, and he rose in rank to be the Navy's chief oceanographer and a Rear Admiral, which is really impressive. And even though I had watched a lot of his interviews online, I had read his essays, I did a lot of research on him, but in my mind, I still thought that he was going to be kind of a military hard-ass, kind of like a, I don't know, like a Brad Pitt in a movie character or something. I don't know. And what was like, you know, tattooed flower girl, hippie, organic farmer, climate activist gonna do with that? But there was no time to second-guess myself anymore because Rear Admiral David Titley is walking toward me at the Naval Yard. And that's when I start to panic. Because I realized I don't know what to call him. Is it Rear Admiral David Titley, the whole thing, as it's written out? Is that too long? Should it just be Admiral Titley? Does it matter that he's retired? Should it just be Mr. Titley then? I don't know. He's walking toward me. He's a few feet away, and I'm panicking because I realize I don't know what to call him. And what if I say the wrong thing, and then he's going to get mad and angry and stomp off and not do the interview because I said the wrong thing? And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm shaking in my boots a little bit, and he comes right up to me, and he just reaches out his hand, and he says, "Hey, call me Dave." And in that moment, my entire worldview changed. So that's who I thought he was going to be. This is who he was. A guy standing next to a mascot. This is his Twitter profile pic, by the way. He's not the dude in the mascot, although knowing him, I wouldn't put it past him. He's a super sweet guy. This is him during the interview, naval ship in the background. And he was naming bird species as they flew by. He was like, "Oh, an osprey." And after the interview, he sent me a follow-up text with a smiley face emoji in it. And I just could not believe how down-to-earth and chill he was. He was just a sweet, chill, nerdy guy. And I was so entirely blown away. I couldn't believe it. And over the last couple of years, that's kind of been my experience with the film. What's ironic is I set out to make a film to change people's minds about climate change. And what I did was make a film that changed me. You know, I was an activist. I didn't understand the military. To be honest, I didn't really respect what they did. And coming out of it over the past couple of years, I have so much respect for the military and the people who serve. And Dave and other people in the military are the ones who have really taught me all about how they actually think about climate change, which is something I never really thought about before. Turns out they think about it a lot. Everything from humanitarian responses from the wildfires in California here to all of the storms and hurricanes and Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico, New Orleans, and all the sea level rise at the naval station in Norfolk, which is the largest naval base in the world, and they experience climate change in the form of sea level rise, and they have a lot of storm surges, and they have to replace their piers of the ships because they're getting inundated by floods. And it's billions of dollars. It takes a lot of money to do that. But the main way that the Department of Defense thinks about climate change is as a threat multiplier, which is kind of a wonky term. But basically it means if you already have instability in a region, that could be from poverty, it could be from poor governance, it could be from religious tensions, and then you add the layer of climate change on top of that, you could go from an unstable situation to one of conflict and potentially civil war, which has happened in our past. So that's really scary and a way of thinking about climate change that I hadn't really thought of before. And over the past couple of years, it's just been an incredible experience to get to know Dave and some other folks who have been in our film. And we've been on panels together. We were in a panel together this fall in Capitol Hill. He's been to the festivals with us. He came to our world premiere. This is how dedicated he is. He came to our world premiere in Canada, never having seen the film before. I mean, it just shows what a humble and passionate guy he is. And it's just been cool. His work has helped our work, and our work has helped his work. We've really come together. And not only have we become friends in real life, but as a millennial, I have to brag about this for a second. We're friends on Facebook. And no big deal. This cat selfie got a thumbs up from a Rear Admiral. Just saying. Kind of cool. But here's us just, at an event together, having a little cheers, little beer as buds. My hope for all of you in the audience is that when you're meeting someone new, that you can meet them without the unnecessary stereotypes, and you can just see them for their full, beautiful humanity. Because if an admiral, a rear admiral, and an activist can be friends, so too can you be friends with someone you consider your complete opposite. You just have to give them the chance to stick out their hand and say, hey, call me Dave. Thank you.